ahead of schedule.
I know.
Not that I'm trying to push this off on vacation already.
Yeah, like I care.
But still, back.
Might be two they're gonna have.
Let's go ahead, Jackie, can you go ahead and push back on your screen?
So this is just your public hearing. She said you're on.
Yeah, okay, we convene the council, and I'll turn it over to Shelley.
This is your public hearing on the, on your budget, for all the budgets. So we used to have to advertise this in the paper. We haven't had to advertise it in the paper for the last couple of years. I don't think since I've been the auditor again. But this does have to be advertised in Gateway, and it is. So this is the form that goes to Gateway. Gives our dates and times of our public hearing and our adoption hearing, and it lists our funds and what we advertise them at. So these are the high advertisements that we've done prior to what you guys did a couple weeks ago, which most of these will adopt at less, not all of them though. I mean, like debt service certainly isn't gonna be less than it was. And just a lot of these funds, I mean, there was nothing to take out of them outside of what they had budgeted for, and the money is there for that, so. But this is your advertisement high. I just printed this off of Gateway so you could see what each fund that was required in Gateway got put into Gateway as. And then that will, I'll have a new one, a different one in October for the adoption part of it.
Well, I wasn't real clear on, is this the form that the state gets that we'll have to approve then?
This is the
information?
original advertisement, so this is where everybody's budget originally came in. And then 2 weeks ago, you guys cut those budgets down.
Right,
So this is the original amount, the high amount. And you guys have already shaved, I don't know, almost 700,000 out of the general fund that you see here is already that much less. And that's what you'll adopt. This is just the public part.
okay, so we adopt that part, then that part goes down to the state,
Right,
okay.
right, for approval to get our 1782 or something that says, hey, we think you're okay, go ahead.
Okay.
And I think we're like at 3.3, give or take, % higher than last year's budget.
I mean, as a rule, in the last few years, the state's come back fairly quick on.
Well, because we have the cash balance, so I mean, they're not
Because
looking
I
at
know
it
in years
like,
past, there's times that.
well, we got it in August
operating.
once and they
Yeah.
told us we had to cut 1.8 million.
Yeah.
We were already in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do too. I just put everything on my desk and went home for the rest of the day. Cause I thought, I don't even know how you do that in August, so, but. The nice thing about this Gateway, which I hate Gateway, just so you know, but the nice thing is we are advertising this in Gateway, we're not paying to advertise it in the paper any longer.
So you don't have to do it in the paper.
We'll have to advertise our tax rates eventually, but we don't have to advertise this part, so.
You don't have to advertise the one that we adopt.
Gateway's a very public site,
Okay.
if you know how to use it. Right? I mean, actually, it's almost easy to use if you get into it, but I had to somebody called and they wanted to see all our abatements, and I said, well, they're all on Gateway. And they said, well, we can't find them, so then, I had to go through Gateway, and I thought, on the public site, I can find them on my site when I'm logged in. But it took me like 5 or 10 minutes to finally get them, so I could walk somebody through, hey, here they are, this is where you go,
Right.
on the
It's all
public
the way
site.
at the end.
Yeah, and it doesn't say abatements, it says something else.
I think it was like grant.
I don't know,
Weird.
it has a weird name to it though, so, but yeah. But this is what people can see there.
So any other questions or any concerns or questions, I guess, on the amounts? I mean, we pretty much rely on the auditor's office to make sure we've got the right numbers there.
I knew you were gonna say something. I was waiting on you. I thought maybe you'd hold up that yellow sheet of paper.
I just will say it's a tough thing calculate all those figures.
And we are going through them again, I mean, we've been through them once, Nicole and I and Nicole, both Nicoles. So we're going through them again to try to avoid the mistake I made with Nicole and just to put people back in line. Where last year we didn't carry all our salaries out 3 decimals, and I know that sounds like it's not a big deal, $5 a year to be honest. But we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
So the figures we have on this will be different than the figures that
That
we
you
have
adopt.
next month when we adopt.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yes, we'll have our cuts on the 6th. And I guess, Casey, you're not gonna be here, I don't know about Trey, but is everybody else gonna be here on the 6th? Wanna make sure.
I'm pretty sure Trey is, cause he asked me when I'm not gonna be, cause I think he wanted to be here, to make sure.
Okay, so I'm
I'm
just
pretty
make
sure
sure
he's
we've got a quorum, which generally is not a problem for us, so. Any other questions?
There are no motions, I don't believe, on this, it's just if there's somebody here from the public that wants to object, or you guys, or.
There's a process that they go
Right.
through.
It is tax paid.
Does it say tax
Yeah,
abatement?
there's 85 pages to the end of the
So you
report.
just go to gateway.com or what do you do?
Gateway Indiana is what I usually do.
Gateway in,
I can email you from last year, I've got it,
sure.
it's 85 pages. I use it as the tool of mine.
Well, no, I'll just get it.
All the
and look
grants are on here,
myself.
every health grant she has to put in here.
I thought you meant just
Contracts.
Yeah.
send me the link or something, I'll just,
Oh, I can do that.
I'll find it. Or send it out.
You send that to me too, Casey.
I will.
Just send it to all of them, so
Yeah.
you would, Casey.
Let's take a look at that.
Anything else with that? I guess I should have probably said it about, for a public meeting anyway, but if Congress passed, we'd open it up for an actual public hearing. That's a formality and then close it, so, I think that being said, in my oversight on that, but I think we held our meeting, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing on the budget for Noble County.
So moved.
Have a motion from Tom,
Second.
second from Brandon. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So that concludes the public hearing on our budget. And now we are ready for Park Department, we're ahead of schedule. by
Thank
10
you.
minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley.
And I don't see them here
Are you
yet.
guys Park Department?
Yeah.
They're here.
Okay, very good.
See you soon.
Mary, you're supposed to. That's the public hearing. I mean, I think that was the proper.
Yes,
You
you're
opened it up,
supposed to
didn't you?
open
Open
the
it up,
hearing.
Yeah, but you did, I thought you opened it.
Well, I brought
Okay.
reconvened the budget hearing, but when you haven't,
Well, that's good.
I think it's the same thing, but I think it's just technicality. I don't know. I should have shut my damn mouth,
Yeah,
blame
the
it on my
public was
VP,
concerned.
There you
my
go.
VP's supposed to be looking out for me.
There's somebody sitting out there.
Coming in, you're ready. You don't want that.
How are you?
Tracy went to sit with me. But they can sit behind you and then Heather can sit up front so they can meet Heather. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
You can sit up and Heather, I got to meet you yet. They see me all the time.
It's
Come on,
been-
Kevin.
It's been a bit, so if you would
Been last year.
introduce yourself to the board, that'd be great.
Good. I'm Diane Scott. I'm the president of the Noble County Parks Board. This is Grace Caswell. She is our secretary, and you know Grace from all of her other many hats that she wears. And then this is our newest board member, Kevin Yan. Kevin joined us but he's actually been involved for about a year, but officially as a board member approved by Kevin Wallace in July.
Very good.
Much needed.
So anyway, what we wanted to do was just come back, we try and get here at least once a year to tell you what we're doing, what's up. We were here last July to request consideration for funding in the budget. We've requested $10,000 funding, so we wanted to get an update on that. And then, just kind of tell you some things that are going on, answer any questions that you have. And I know y'all got the letter of what our requests are. We're still looking for some revisions to the ordinance that would allow us to add a treasurer, because we'd like to have the ability to seek funding. Right now, we have, in the ordinance, it says we can have a president and a secretary. And what we'd like to do is add a treasurer, and then the section D in the ordinance says that the board shall not apply for any grant without prior approval. You guys all know how grants work. You find out about them, and if you don't answer them within a couple days, we don't have time to get in here to do that. So if we had the $10,000 funding, we wouldn't need to do that, but we'd like to have the ordinance change that we could apply for grants as needed, especially if we are not getting funding. The board was created in 2010. This is, I'm sorry, come on in. This is James Haddock. He is one of our longtime board members. He was one of the original board members in 2010. So the board was created in 2010. We've been in existence 15 years, and 15 years without funding, and just doing it kind of on a volunteer basis and doing whatever we can as we can. So those are our specific requests. So I guess, yeah, do you guys have anything you'd like to add, or we'll be able to answer any questions that you have?
How many total board members?
There are 6.
6?
Well, 5, and then we have an occasional one from, no, you took that place. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 5.
5.
Sorry, I was thinking we were at 6, but 5.
Pardon, clarification,
Yeah.
there's 6 total appointments. One of them is from Purdue Extension, the others are from county government. So there's 2 additional
Yes,
members
there
that
are
are
6.
not present here today.
There are 6.
6.
Yeah, myself and 5 others.
So what parks does this encompass?
This doesn't, we don't have any parks. We are coordinating across all the other parks in the county. That's what we work on, is the unincorporated areas. So one of our things in our 5-year park work plan, which now needs to be updated, is, increasing water-based recreation. So we've been looking at how we can put kayak stations in, or different things where people could access the rivers, access the water-based recreation that is not in town. So that's one of our highlights.
So Grace, where does this not fit with the Convention and Visitors Bureau stuff?
That's a wonderful question, Mary. So for us, we see it as a partnership and a collaboration. So the Visitors Bureau does promote unincorporated Noble County to visitors and supports the work of the Parks Board, so we typically sponsor the summit. But the Visitors Bureau isn't necessarily the outdoor recreation expert, where one of the things that the Parks Board is able to do is they're able to connect assets in a unique way because of that focus on recreation, but also professional development opportunities. So twice a year, the Parks Board puts together a summit that highlights outdoor recreation in Noble County and also offers professional development opportunities. Sometimes the Bureau is a guest and we might offer marketing expertise, but we've had funders come into those conversations via the Parks Board. We've had rental outfitters for things like kayaks and bicycles and sporting equipment come into those meetings. Different funders, we've had representatives from the state DNR come in to talk about how to better access and how to better connect our partners. So there's always that professional development and connectivity, and the ordinances are slightly different. The Visitors Bureau ordinance, I wanna say it's 2002-A maybe, does call out recreation promotion, but doesn't necessarily call out recreation, like education or professional development. And the Visitors Bureau ordinance is older, but it calls each team to do something slightly different. Also, there's no income that comes to the Bureau for recreation. Our income is innkeeper's tax and then a seated gift typically. And we typically use that seated gift for more traditional economic development work. But we do complement each other, but we are two separate entities.
And then like if you were talking about putting in access points like on the Elkhart or something like that, wouldn't that be the DNR?
We would work with the DNR on that.
So wouldn't they be responsible? I mean, wouldn't they be
They
the
would,
person
they would
footing
do
the bill?
they would do the site, but we were thinking about like kayak rentals, that would be something that would be an income generator. Not everybody has kayaks, but they could rent it there. There's all kinds of different facilities that we'd be looking at. And I'll take a moment just to introduce our other longtime board member, John Metzger. He has also been on the board since 2010. So now you have everybody but Chris here, so.
So if you're putting in kayak rental or whatever, where does the liability lie?
With the provider, we have no liability.
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
So what makes these, we'll use this example.
This
Let's
is one thing that we're looking at,
So let's say this one project were to come to fruition, within 3 to 4 years based on use, it would pay for itself. And when we say kayak outfitter, for example, it's like a kiosk. It functions where there's 4 to 8 individual lockers that a resident, a visitor, anybody who wanted to use it would download the app, pay digitally to get the material out. So it wouldn't be a manned station by this entity, but the partner outfitter, we'll use an example of Rent Fund. They do more than just kayaks, but there are some in Steuben and Pasquiasco County that I can think of specifically where they've seen great success in supporting outdoor recreation in unincorporated or incorporated communities at very low cost and making it approachable and get addable, because to Diane's point, not every resident is gonna be able to purchase a kayak when they don't even know, when they're trying to learn more about the experience or other things. This is just an example of one project. There's other projects that the Parks Board has looked into.
Yeah, just even the expenses of providing marketing materials to talk about all of the activities within the county, instead of having to go to each individual city, you could have a countywide marketing piece.
That seems to me like that's where the
As-
And that's where
comes
we're,
in.
Yes, and we've partnered with that quite a bit. Right now, we don't charge for any advertising in our visitor guide, but to be as detailed and comprehensive as we would like to be to focus just on recreation, we would either have to create a second piece or start charging for those advertisements because of cost. And so right now, when the Parks Board wants to update their website, the Visitors Bureau provides that service. When they're looking at cataloging marketing material for attending an event that highlights recreation, the Visitor Bureau is providing all the material for that, as well as financially supporting the summit. So when there's a summit education piece, the Visitors Bureau is probably the one sponsoring the meal, probably the one sponsoring the space, or in partnership, getting our recreation partner to give the space for free if they're able, or reduce the rate. We've done some really interesting things, but the goal, I think, ultimately is to redo a master plan. The last master plan is about 5 to 6 years old now, and they're not overly expensive, but there is a cost associated with them. And I
Yeah,
wanna
the
say
last-
DECO helped.
DECO helped with the first one, and then our quotes were between $6,000 and $8,000 to update it, and we don't have the funding to update it, so, it's like, we can't even update our plan.
So I have a question on
Yes.
you wanna change the ordinance, but my understanding, and I could be wrong, but the ordinance, all our ordinances are handled by the commissioner's office, or the commissioners.
Not this ordinance.
This is specific to us, Dennis?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, because
Commissioners
my
sent us
second
here.
question was gonna be, we move into approval from the county council, because all other departments in the county have to go to the commissioners to get approval prior for Yeah, I couldn't remember, and I should remember that, I apologize, but.
No, I wasn't there during the original ordinance being created, so maybe John or Jim could correct me, but I think one of the intents or goal behind creating this ordinance was to understand when and if and how a parks board that was countywide could better serve residents and to do the research and understand what that could look like for Noble. Most counties around us have a county parks board. I will caveat that most of them also have physical property. At present, we do not, but I know I have reason to believe that entities would love to donate land to us if we were structured in a way that we could support public unincorporated land for county residents to enjoy.
I'm just curious, Grace, do you have any idea, cause I know LaGrange, I grew up in LaGrange County, it's been a lifetime ago, but I know they've got, I think, probably 3 parks I can think of offhand. I have no clue what their budget is, but do you have any idea what kind of budget they have for?
I was gonna say, Kevin's been doing some research on that for us.
I know it's significant, but it's also property management's a factor there where that wouldn't be a factor here.
Yeah, we wouldn't need that much.
You send it around.
I just printed that off, that's pretty much their mission statement or park board makeup and all their parks for LaGrange County.
About 800,000 for 25.
But they've got several areas too.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
I
have
think-
significant staff, we're not looking to add
Yeah.
staff or any,
We're still all volunteer organizations.
So
We
do you
just wanna
have,
be
do you
able to
guys
take
actually have
parkland.
any operating budget money
No.
at all?
no,
That's-
it's, we all,
Or wasn't that the way the ordinance was
We
set
can't,
up?
we can't
Right.
do anything without approval here.
Doug Furman, Jim can probably speak better, but from what I remember when we first started, the whole goal was to figure out whether there was a need for a park board in Noble County.
I
Is that
can't-
kind of what we,
Yeah,
or was our charge when we started?
no, I think that's the essence of it.
And we had no money, yeah. That was almost our saying that we had every.
Much of that grant that we got from DECO involved extensive surveying of the communities in the county. So we had actual meetings with, in several towns where we had an opportunity for people to interject comments and ask questions and so on. So we did our homework. We met the needs of thought we were meeting the needs of the county, which we were really. I'd also point out that part of my incentive for being involved with this for about 15 years now is not only to help the county per se in helping the individuals within it, but also to draw people into Noble County for recreational opportunities. And I would say specifically that our county is gifted with many natural resources, woods, and in particular rivers. And we lie north, north of a burgeoning population in Fort Wayne that's moving closer and closer to us. So I envision in the future that Noble County could be a real center for aquatic activities, for example. Not only boating, but canoeing and kayaking and things of that nature. So that's good for the county. It brings in money because they're gonna spend money for hotels and gas and food and so on and so forth. So I think that's been my personal drive, I guess, is to try to encourage people to come to our county because we do stand out. We've got 3 different watersheds in this county that makes it quite unique. 3 different watersheds, and the Elkhart River is one of the main ones we've been involved with. We've tried to work with the DNR on a couple of sites, and that's been a tough go because in one case, property came up for sale, it was sold before we were able to, over in Cosperville, for example, we were able to negotiate a landing site. But there are lots of positives in this county relative to aquatic resources, in addition to the trail systems that are already very well established, namely Acres Land Trust, and the trail trail system, starting from, going to Kendallville from,
Could be,
Fishing line trails.
yeah, the trail system, sorry.
I guess, or for me, when I went through, coming from the ag side, I'll be honest, I was kinda like, well, what do we need all this for? But I'm outside all the time. I see a lot of things that people in Albion will never see, just from my thing. But after we went through all the data, I realized you were all looking to bring kids back into Noble County. The generation now, from what I picked up, they're into bicycling, they're into being outdoors, and let's face it, we need to get these kids off these phones. I can't say enough about what the Top One Week has there. We are really, for right now, we don't need more parks. We got Mary Lake, we got Chain Lakes, we have Acres, we have several other things that are out there. We need to get our kids back outside, well, in the general public. And to Jim's point, I think we can bring more people in and some of the businesses. When you talk to business people, that's what their people, the younger generation is looking for. I think a lot of things that us older ones that grew up in the country, we took for granted. You know, you talk to these kids and they're going, what? I said, well, you just gotta walk down the road here, you can see that. You can see the fox, you can see the coyotes, you can see. I think from my perspective, as I get older, I'm thinking maybe it's something that I didn't realize a lot of people in the county don't realize we have, that I took for granted, because I see it. So, that's,
So have you guys applied for, I know you said the DECO grant for surveys, is there any other grants that you've applied for in the last 4 or 5
No.
years? Or?
We have to have prior approval to do that.
Yeah.
The first grant was to do the very first 5-year park work plan, and then the second 5-year plan, Ken Hughes did that out of his budget from the planning department. So now we're up to the
Right.
next one. So we really have not, the only grants we've gotten have been from, the Visitors Bureau to do our summits
And that's been more of a sponsorship than a
Yeah,
grant. It's been
it's-
where we'll sponsor a meal or
Yeah.
we'll sponsor the rental fee for Augusta Hills to be highlighted.
And the summits that we do in the spring and the fall, it's not just the city park boards that are coming, it's all recreational partners are invited. And they really do a tremendous amount of networking there. Someone will talk about, 4 years ago, the disc golf, it's like, what? And now it's everywhere, and let's do a dog park. Oh, you did a dog park, well, how did you start it? So that networking and being able to educate them in a group on here's how you can start using social media better, here's some of the tools that you have at your access, here's things that the Visitors Bureau can do. All of the recreation partners, we have really good attendance, they love coming to this because it is a county-wide focus on recreation in the county. And it's the only place they can get that, is through the park board.
And to give perspective again of this, it's a mixture of public and private spaces. So everyone from Elkhart Township is able to participate, individual cities are able to, but also mentioning some of these nonprofits, some of these additional partners like Noble Trails, like Mary Lee Learning Center, like the YMCA, and some of these recreation and outdoor recreation partners that all have different missions, but they have one thing in common, and that's recreation and leisure. We've even had some of the golf courses that are clearly for-profit entities attend the summits as well for connectivity, collaboration, and to learn more together.
I guess one of the things that's, obviously, we've been through the budget process for next year's budget, and we just had a public hearing on that today, so, as far as the annual budget, you get into monies at 26, I don't even know if that's something that we could even.
Well, that's what we asked for last July, so it was just really to get an update, were we included or not?
When I pulled the original minutes, I don't know if I sent that to you guys or not, when we formed the park board, and it was, in the minutes, it states that there would be no financial support on that particular thing. And it does mention the fact that they suggested that grants be given, or grants be applied for, and that's how they would fund themselves. So I mean, to revise that ordinance to allow them to get those grants might be the step that you need to take.
The only
So
thing-
that would allow them to apply for grants as they come available and not have to wait for approval
Right.
and see how that goes before maybe more funding, cause it is very specific, and I know I sent that to Dennis as well, those.
So if any
Yeah,
changes.
The only thing I was gonna add to that was Tom was on it, I think he's the only one still left over from that, I don't know if he remembers anything.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember, I mean, exactly. I don't see why, I mean, I'm asking you, Denny, I mean, why would it be a problem for us to allow them to get grants?
And we could stipulate it, you know, no more than what our requested annual budget is, maybe we don't apply for more than $10,000 without coming back
Right.
to you, because we have a project, and here's the
I mean,
project,
that's,
we'd like to
that's
get funded.
totally up to you guys, but yeah, I
Question.
don't see really a problem with it, because
My only
maybe
concern
something that they have to supply a copy of the grant application to
Right.
you after the fact, so you
Right.
are aware of
But
it.
if you
but-
have, but that's not agreeing, saying that we would give them anything for
No.
budget.
No,
Correct.
no, that's
So,
with, in lieu of a budget, could we get grants? That's
The
what we're asking.
only thing is with the budgets, it would be very specific to plans and that type of thing. It would involve no employment whatsoever
Right.
because you don't have the basis for that. So it could not be a grant to put, a person in place.
Yeah,
So-
no, this would
Yeah,
be
that would be
at
the
all.
only stipulation, that it could not be a grant to employ
Yeah.
a person.
The only
Yeah,
other
and then we would
concern
look
I
at
have with the grants is a lot of them are written, so you got county matching funds, and without having a budget in place, we wouldn't be able to do any of those matching type grants. But I personally, I don't wanna speak for everybody, but, I mean, I don't have a problem, I mean, we're supposed to go get grants, and then we kind of,
Yeah.
make it a hard thing for you to do, that's kind of counterproductive.
And taking that angle really, I think, could be very beneficial, because not every year is a hefty budget gonna be needed.
Right.
It's gonna be needed when a very specific project comes, and also this shows good stewardship of taxpayer dollars to say, we've empowered this group to fundraise on your behalf, rather than,
Use county money.
and maybe I'm being too frank, but we all know that county budgets and county dollars and residents wanna kind of see and know how funds are being spent, and it's a tight season that we're in. It's not forever, but it's a season. So empowering this office to have a win where we say, hey, we celebrate outdoor recreation, we're going to empower this group to do good work on behalf of government without adding anything to the tax base, I think is a really strong message that this office could give, and it would be a wonderful partnership. And I know that sometimes people question, because I serve on both boards and I volunteer for both so much. The Parks Board really is a unique, distinct program that the Visitors Bureau loves to partner with. But I would have to hire another person to have like a sports tourism or a sports recreation marketer. Larger entities like Visit Fort Wayne, they have someone on their office that only does their outdoor recreation, their sports booking. To have a strong volunteer base to complement our work and keep overhead very low for the county government and low for the nonprofit, I think is kind of that beautiful sweet spot of relationship and collaboration where we get to do it together, if that makes sense.
Sure, so, circling back to so the only actual ordinance, change that you're seeking is for the ability to add an elected treasurer from the board, and then to change, on section D, that the board may apply for grants as needed.
Right, instead of shall.
So, and I'm assuming since this is an ordinance, we probably need to vote on that if we wanna allow those changes, Dennis?
Well, the first thing would be, what changes you want to make, so there'd be a motion to draft an ordinance, then the next meeting you'd go over that and see if it's the way you want it. But as far as the first thing, as far as the treasurer, I would wanna have that, they be bonded. There is a cost to that, but I don't know, it's not that much. And then as far as the second one, as far as they may apply for grants as needed, I think you need to be a little more specific, what kind of grants you want them to be requesting.
Right. And you could clarify that with something as simple as programming grants as needed or supportive grants as needed. To Jackie's point, so that it would be very clear that that would not be for something like purchasing land and or having an employee. I think if you use language like program or service
Right.
in there, that would be a little bit more clear as to what the intent was.
Thoughts from the rest of the council members on those two, section C and section D?
I don't have anything on that, but it's on something else whenever I can have a minute.
Okay, let's kind of focus on this first.
Yeah, I think freeing them up to seek grants, I'm in favor of that.
I'm in favor of
Let
seeking.
Denny draw up an ordinance.
Yeah, I'll draw something up along those lines then.
Make it easier for them
Okay.
to seek some funds.
So I don't think we need to vote on anything now, we're just giving you approval to do that, you'll bring that back to us, we'll take a look at it. So I would assume that, one or more of you would probably like to be here for that as
Yes,
well when that gets
Just
done.
let us know the date, invitation, and we'll get it out.
Okay. So I think that's, moving forward. The budgeting part, like I said, we're kind of beyond that for this year.
Right.
But I think, at least I know Brandon and I talked, we have sidebars about parks and we both like the outdoors, and I've always said, and I think we've said this to you folks before, the lake or the rivers are not getting utilized here. I was at Fort Wayne a few weeks ago at the deck or the land deck,
Yeah.
I think it is. And I know my daughter and her friends, they kayak down that thing, and I unfortunately had to sell my kayak because my back is no longer kayak free.
I just have a question. It's always interested me, I guess, in how do you get, or do they just not do it, the Elkhart cleaned up? I mean, you can't even get in it like an ear and go anywhere
Would you
because
like
there's
to take that one?
Or are you just supposed to get out and pull your kayak over?
No, you call your kids in town and pick you up.
I mean,
That's what
no, but I mean,
it-
there's there's so many trees and.
Yeah.
That's a whole different other issue
Yeah,
that
that's a
I've been
big
fighting
issue.
for years. To be truthful, Mary, I think when I first got on the park board, I thought cleaning or getting an Elkhart where it could be used for the public would be a three-way winner. It would bring in visitors, the farm and agriculture, and we would gain by the drainage.
Yeah.
And the county would, for me, it looks like it's something that a family can do and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
Well, it's,
But it is so bad, last time I was down,
Yeah.
and some of the problems actually on state ground.
Right.
But we don't wanna get into the river discussion, because you
Okay.
really, it's not even designated whether we can all
Right,
go
and
down it.
yeah.
Diane, I'd suggest that you talk a little bit about the North Branch. See, the
Yeah, no,
North
what
Branch
they've
and the
done-
South Branch are two different
Yeah, West
ballgames.
Lakes and them, I went down that is something amazing what they did there, to clean it
the
up.
West Lakes Association, we took it upon ourselves to clean about 6 miles. We keep 6 miles of river clean from the exit of Waldron Lake down past Cosperville, because it helps with our flooding issues.
Yeah.
We have not had a flood since 2017, and it's because of the efforts that we're doing. We actually spray weeds downriver. It's not weeds on the lake, it's weeds downriver. So Westlake Association has taken on a tremendous responsibility in keeping that clean, but we have 600 plus homes that we are trying to protect. So we have done a lot of work there.
Yeah, kudos to you.
That was my only other.
And it would be nice if if the DNR would keep it clean.
I know, just for side note, not to make
Yeah.
a meeting of, but I know, working for Mary Lee, they used to, and I don't know if they still do, but they used to put in a bet and go clear to Lake, or up to the lake. They go all the way, I think it was an 8-day trip.
Oh, yeah, they still do that.
Do they still do it?
Through the Grace College, through their environmental master's degree program.
Right.
Yeah, because I've worked with them on that.
Up at Mongo, the, Pigeon River up there, the, Pigeon River Outfitters, they pretty much keep
that clean.
Yeah, they keep it cleaned up and go through, and when trees are down, get the trees cut out.
Well,
Yeah, I
and
kayaked on that.
And if we could get an active kayak group, where they would say, we love kayaking this, and all of a sudden people realize it, they're gonna step in and help clean. Yeah, that's how the residents of West Lakes got involved. We wanted to be able to use it, so if we get more people in the county looking at the resource and realizing, oh, swimming pools and furniture don't go in the river, and now we're trying to clean that out.
I know there's a pretty active one, or there was in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Because I was at Channel Lakes one day and we were out there, so. But I think this is a good jump off point. I hope folks are happy with us, at least, you know, trying to
Yes.
move forward and do something with it, so.
Doug, if I can,
Sure, Casey,
Um,
sorry.
you know, I'll challenge the board or the council. You know, I know 15 years ago, things changed, we had COVID. Of course, I've been at Park, I've been Park for 26 years. The outside recreation's up big time.
Yeah.
Things change. I hope the council figures out how we can move some money around through CEDAR funds, and when you know, look at some organizations that we're helping, it's got hundreds of thousands of dollars balances that we just shift some money around and help them out. That's one of my goals. I mean, $10,000, I mean, to impact for people that are doing free work. And yeah, I just think, I'm passionate about it, I think you guys know that, but I just think we need to take a look at it in the future. I mean, things change, ordinances change, people change. The group's trying hard, so that's just what I wanna throw out.
And
Thank you,
that's,
Casey.
I appreciate that so much, Casey, cause that's the one thing that sometimes, because the tourism office is that messenger of recreation, you forget that the visitor probably isn't gonna volunteer on a cleanup day to clean out our river.
Yeah.
But our
it's
48,000 residents need to know that there's an opportunity to do so.
Right. And
Does
yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, it does, and the opportunity for us to go in and start, you know, working with the school kids about having a day, you know, to understand what's the aquatic resources here, you know, just, there's all kinds of opportunities.
And that type of professional development and education side of like, you know, every school corporation gets a parks day, where the parks board comes in and talks to elementary school kids about being outside and being engaged and what clean water looks like and how they can volunteer in their community. Right now, we don't quite have the mechanism for that, there's the passion, but there isn't
But
quite
West
yet the
Noble
mechanism.
has,
Yeah,
go ahead, Brent.
Yeah.
I'd say West Noble has made a recent push to do more outdoor education with the purchase of the land that they made next to the
Yes.
school. And this year they offered, they call it Kinderwoods, so
Yes.
half the day the kindergartners go out to the property and spend outside learning.
I
When
thought
they-
it was all day. I was told that they were out there all day.
Well, they have their, you know, their studies, they've gotta get their core work in, then the second half of the day is when they go out and they learn outside, and they
That's
have a
awesome.
curriculum for it.
That's awesome.
When they put out a survey to see if incoming kindergartners, their parents would be interested in it, 98% signed up, and
That's
it's,
fantastic.
they want their kids outside.
There's
Well,
two
and that's-
classes that do that, two kindergarten?
Yes, there's 2 kindergarten classes, and then we also have the YMCA preschool that comes out and has an outdoor area in our woods as well. It's an outdoor program too.
And Mary Lee does the
also
same
has a,
thing.
Mary
Yes,
Lee
that's
offers
actually the
their
same-
services.
But
Yeah.
the same kind of program.
Them kids are outside,
Oh.
they're never inside.
I know,
My
yeah, it
granddaughter
is a
just
specific.
had a heart attack, just figured that out.
But
When it was all done, she loved it, but all winter, they were outside.
yeah,
See, that's what I thought the Laura told me.
yeah, there's a just
Yeah,
a tremendous
They
opportunity.
come over around noon, 1 o'clock, so they start off a little bit inside.
A little bit inside.
But they all, I mean, they're out there all winter, rain,
Yeah.
snow, sleet or shine.
Very good, folks, keep up the good work.
Thank
Alright,
you.
well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, thank you for your time this
Appreciate it.
afternoon.
Thank you.
Just
Good
let
job.
us know when we can come back.
That was short and sweet.
Good. Alright, thank you guys for being here.
Take 10 grand away from
Thanks, guys.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
They got $1 million
Thank you.
balance.
There you go.
Doug,
Thanks.
you want them on your agenda for October 6th?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we can have
Tom.
a word.
Sorry, Tom, I don't hear all that word, I don't mean that, but I just.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
3, 7, 8 people wanna be working. I'd rather see 10,000 trees up than you see them get to them, cause the impact would be unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in the rivers. Very good, that's all I have on the agenda unless anybody else has anything.
When you got $1 million balance.
Yeah.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
So moved.